I used to show up to every professional event with a list. Not a written list, but a mental one. 3 people I needed to meet, 2 conversations I needed to start, 1 ask I was building towards. I thought that was preparation. I thought that's what a serious business professional did. It took me years to realize that the list was the problem. If you've ever left a networking event feeling like you worked really hard but got nothing, then this video is for you. If you've ever felt the exhaustion of trying to make every conversation count, then this one's for you. If you've ever watched someone else move through a room with ease, effortlessly connecting with everyone while you're sitting there grinding, this is especially for you. Because the difference between those 2 experiences is not charisma, it's not confidence, it's not how many business cards you have in your pocket. It's whether you walked in needing something. That need, that agenda changes everything. It changes how you listen, it changes how you move, and it changes how you feel to the other person standing in front of you. And most professionals never figure this out. They just keep grinding harder at events that stop working, or they stop altogether and call it a waste of time. Neither is the answer. I want to take you back to an ACG event I attended about 12 years ago early in my career. ACG, by the way, is the Association for Corporate Growth. I'm currently serve as the Vice President for the state of New Jersey. Very proud ACG member. It is the professional home for M&A advisors, private equity investors, bankers, lawyers, accountants, and other deal intermediaries. If you work in the middle market, ACG is the room. The relationships that come out of those events are the ones that move deals. And I knew that going in. So I went in prepared. I had done my homework. I knew who was going to be there, and I had 3 names that I was targeting. I had a rough idea of what I wanted to say to each of them. I was ready to work. I spent 2 hours at that event. I hit every name on my list. I had a conversation with everyone that I had planned. I drove home feeling like I had done something. And then guess what? Nothing happened. No follow-up turned into anything real. No new relationship got traction. The connections stayed surface level and faded within a few months. I remember thinking, I did everything right. Why didn't it work? And here's the answer I didn't have yet. I was performing at those people, not talking to them, and they could probably feel it. Maybe they couldn't name it, but they could definitely feel it. Every question I asked was moving towards something. Every story I told was positioning something. I was not curious about them. I was managing them towards an outcome. And the best people in the room, the ones with real credibility, real deal flow, and real relationships, they have been in front of enough advisors to recognize that energy instantly. They smiled, they were polite, but they moved on. After that night, I wasn't able to fix my problem in one event. I fixed it over years. I made the conscious decision that I was going to walk into every room, ACG, client dinners, conferences, any other networking event, it doesn't matter. I was going to be giving before I was looking to receive anything else. And not as a strategy, but just as a discipline. That meant making introductions with no idea if they would ever benefit me. Sharing information freely instead of treating it like currency I had to protect. Showing up for people's events, their wins, their hard moments when there was nothing on the table for me. And for a long time, it felt like I was leaving value on the floor. I would watch other advisors work a room transactionally and walk away with the meeting booked, while I walked away with nothing but a good conversation. But here's what I didn't see yet. I wasn't leaving value on the floor. I was making a deposit. And it's a deposit I could not see the return on right away. But years later, I started tracing back where my biggest opportunities came from. Not the ones I chased, but the ones that actually found me. And almost every single one of them traced back to a relationship I had built with no expectation attached. A person I had given something to. Maybe it was my time, an introduction, even just attention. Long before I ever needed anything from them. Added up over 20 years, and that pattern alone has put hundreds of millions of dollars of opportunities in front of me. Deals I never pitched for, introductions I never asked for, Doors that opened because someone remembered how I showed up when there was nothing in it for me. Not because I pitched, not because I worked the room, because I was actually in the room. I was present, I was curious, I was unhurried, giving before I was ever looking to receive. And let me be clear about something. I'm not saying go into an event with no intention. Intention is not the same as an agenda. Intention sounds like this. I want to be genuinely useful tonight. I want to be curious. I want to leave one person better for having met me. Agenda sounds like this. I need to meet these 3 people and move these 2 conversations forward. One opens you up, the other closes you down. Here's what I've learned after 20 years of building relationships in professional services. The people worth knowing, the decision makers, the referral sources, the operators with real credibility, they're not looking for people who need something from them. They have plenty of those. What they're looking for, often without knowing that they're truly looking, is someone who does not need anything from them, and that's rare. When you show up with no agenda, something in your presence changes. You ask different questions, you listen differently, you pause, you follow threads that are interesting instead of threads that are useful, and the other person feels it. Not consciously, but they feel it. They relax, they open up, they say things they do not say to somebody who they feel like is pitching to them. And that's when the real conversation starts. That's what I mean when I talk about relationship equity. Relationship equity is not about being liked. It's not about being charming or memorable or strategic. It's about showing up consistently, so genuinely, so without needing anything, that over time you become the person that people think of when they think of trust. You cannot engineer that in a 2-hour event, but you can start building it in one conversation if you show up right. So here's what I'd invite you to try. At the next event you go to, before you walk in, decide one thing you want to give rather than one thing you want to get. Maybe it's an introduction you can make. Maybe it's a resource that you can share. Maybe it's just your full attention and presence to whoever ends up in front of you. Walk in carrying that instead of a list of targets. Notice how the conversations feel different. Notice how people respond to you. And notice how you feel at the end of the night. Not drained from performing, but energized from actually connecting. That's the shift. It's not a tactic, it's not a script, it's different orientation towards the room. The best relationships that I have in my professional life, I couldn't have planned them. I couldn't have engineered them. They happened because I was present in the right room at the right time without needing anything from it. That's not luck. That's what no agenda actually looks like. The goal is not to stop being intentional. The goal is to be intentional, but about the right things. Show up, be present, be curious, and let the room give you what it has. You might be surprised what's there when you stop trying to find it. If this landed, follow along. I put out one of these videos every week, and let's continue to build something meaningful together.